I don't want my kids growing up and saying, oh, yeah, my dad's a YouTuber. Think about it, though. Like, any type of government involvement and regulation winds up costing taxpayers more money, and it's for bullshit. I want them saying, my dad's a fighter. He fights for me and my family. He fights to preserve our rights, and he's a fighter for this country. But quite frankly, we got enough of our own shit to handle here in the United States. And I'd much rather send our resources here home site when we've got suicide rates and everything else. We've lost more men and women to suicide than we have combat for the last 30 years. Fuck you and your taxation argument.
What is up, and welcome back to Whiskey and Windage, the 2A podcast for the people, by the people. I'm Matt, and I'm joined with my co-hosts and my brothers, Mike and Adam. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Dude, I am so good today, man. It's a good day. Middle of the week podcast, a little out of the norm, but you know what? We're happy with that. We had to make some things happen. But honestly, when you get guys on, I'm not trying to toot his horn, but when you get certain guys on, there's certain, you got to work around schedules.
You got to be flexible.
Yeah, you got to be a little flexible, like Adam is, and he's pretty damn flexible, if you know what I mean, as JT. But other than that, honestly, dude, I'm excited because I can't wait to hear about this new venture and man, everything that's new on the horizon for this guy.
Yeah. Adam, what's going on, brother?
Dude, I feel blessed. I feel lucky. One, we are getting to the point now where we're getting people on the show that I've watched for years in the 2A community, watched, YouTube stuff. And now we're getting to talk to them, and it's a pretty cool feeling, whether they're a CEO, whether they're a YouTuber. It just kind of feels really, I feel very lucky, very blessed to be in this position we are in to do this. And it's a good feeling.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Today we want to welcome on Clint Magdump Morgan to Whiskey and Windage. Clint, thank you for coming on, man. We've been talking for a while. We're trying to coordinate this. I mean, we have busy schedules, and we finally made it happen.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited to be here, man. Cheers to you and, of course, all the viewers and everything. So excited to be here on the podcast. Glad to see that you guys are having some pretty steady growth as well. That's always exciting.
Yeah, man. We're just doing our thing. We're trying to be like you when we get big, man.
Right. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, I watched your live the other day. It's pretty exciting. You got a lot going on right now, and dude, let's jump into it, man. I know a lot of people watched your live, but dude, you moved lately. You got your own channel now. You have a lot more coming. So, dude, what's going on, man?
Yeah. So I guess we can back up to even a little bit over a year ago. All right, let's see. All right, you want to break down really what's going on in my life really fast. I got divorced, met my fiance. My fiance and I really quickly found out we were having kids, and then I was like, you know what? we talked about it. Should she come down to North Carolina? Should I go up to New Hampshire where she was? And we decided to make the move to New Hampshire. Classic was cool enough to kind of work with me on that, and I did that over a year ago.
Oh wow!
And then it's, I think Classic and I both had ideas as to kind of what to expect, and it got really hard, right? A lot of time being away from the kids and everything, and that part sucked because I am in love with my kids, and I'm not saying all the fathers that are out there that are working their asses off and can't be home for their families don't love their kids. They're working because they love their family, right? And I was just in a really fortunate and blessed situation that allowed me to actually spend more time with my family, and that's really what I prioritized. And then it just got to a point where I'm like, man, I have much love for Classic and everything, but I'm like, I feel like it's time for me to spread my wings and fly away, And like I said, nothing but love to Classic and the guys over there, but I'm like, I just feel like I want to do something more. And and I've actually been talking with G.O.A.L for years, and it's just like, I don't want to leave Classic. I'd love to partner with you guys any way I possibly can. And then this opportunity came up, and they're like, look, we're going to be announcing our very first annual meet. We want to bring you on. And I'm like, okay, let me think about this, because it's like, I've always kind of idolized G.O.A.L.
For sure.
for what they do. You know, I've been a member forever, and I'm like, you know, I really appreciate their mission. I appreciate their no compromise mindset. They don't take any shit in the swamp. And they're always sending out the blast. They make it easy for individuals to reach out to their representatives to actually fight against anti-2A legislation. And it's like, man, this is cool to finally actually be a part of this now. And it's kind of like me putting my money where my mouth is. It's like, okay, cool. The 2A has benefited me in my life for the past several years. Now all of a sudden it's like, okay, I've talked about defending the Second Amendment. I've contacted representatives and all that type of fun stuff. But now I'm actually with an organization that's doing it. Right. And it's like, all right, this is cool. And about that time, too, I'm like, you know, I've gotten, thanks to Classic, giving me the platform to exercise my pro 2A voice. I've gotten decent somewhat in front of a camera. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should keep this going. And then it was like my fiance, she was like, yeah, if you don't keep going, you're an idiot because you're throwing away some talent. And it takes a lot for me to say that because it's like, I see me in front of the camera, I hear me, and I'm like, why the fuck does anybody listen to me?
We are our own worst critics.
Oh yeah.
We know this all too well.
And then Classic, and you know, just this past week announced they finally dropped the farewell video, which we recorded actually back like in April, you know. So when Classic dropped that, I was like, yeah, we'll see what kind of traction this gets. You know, I'm like, I was expecting like some views. I've been with the company for several years. You know, I've definitely taken on the role as the face of the company, and I'm like, we'll see how this goes. And then every time I open up the video, because I do want to read the comments. Ben said it, you know, like, hey, he'll read these comments. I'm like, okay. And me, you know, I've met me. I know the kind of person I am. And I'm like, if anybody's spilling like just grateful, like positive energy in the comment section, I want to let them know I'm seeing it. Well, I don't know what it's at right now, but last time I checked, it was like at 3.2 thousand comments. And I'm like, guys, that's hard to get to.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Give me a minute.
Because that is so motivating. And then when I uploaded dropped the live stream, and it's doing pretty well also, even just being published, right?
Yeah, dude. That was like, 15,000 subscribers overnight almost?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah. You know, yeah, appreciate that. And you know, I've got like a couple of shorts on my live stream up there, right? And so now all of a sudden the pressure's on. Like, I got to drop some content that's going to keep these guys around. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate every last one of them. You know, I saw the 10,001 roll over, and I'm like, no freaking way, dude. How cool is this? Wow. And then then the DMs started coming. My phone started blowing up. Wait, whoa, dude, what? Because, you know, I still had a lot of content built up with Classic, so that was still dropping, even though I was gone. Right.
You were right.
Now I'm actually a little nervous because it's just me. You know, like I don't have a producer. I don't have a director. I say a producer, but you get what I'm saying. Oh, yeah. I don't have somebody that's there to direct me and try to keep me on track. And I'm a little nervous. Like, I'm really hoping that people will actually enjoy the content I'm putting out, because it's me. I might have an editor that I might, you know, hire for an occasional video. Like if it's a collaboration, like I've got a couple of things that I'm already planning, already like putting on the books. I'm debating on whether or not I want to like say anything, because they're pretty exciting. But put it this way, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I've got a lot of friends in this industry, a lot of friends that are like, dude, come and film with me anytime. And a few are in Texas, and you know, a couple of gun manufacturers that are practically right down the street from me that I'm pretty tight with, that are like, dude, anytime, come on in. And then I'm like, okay, well, I got a couple other friends that live down in South Carolina that they could crash here at my house, and they're pretty big names on YouTube. And they're like, yeah, dude, we'll all go tour SIG and have a day there, or Q or whatever. And like I said, I learned so much. And then like my fiance said, Kelsey, she was like, yeah, if you don't take what you've learned, the contacts you've made in the industry, the friends that you've made. And I mean, like, dude, like there's some guys like Aaron Suzo, who's with the channel, you know, Tack Daddy. I love that guy. And he and I have had some like heartfelt conversations. Adam Renola over at Canic, he and I are tight. Neil McLean, you know, and there's so many people that I'm just like, because there's plenty of people I met in the industry. We just didn't vibe, whatever, you know. But then there's so many more that I did meet, and it's like, bro, did we just become best friends, right? You know, it's that scene out of Step Brothers, right? And it's
we
like,
just become best friends.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you also find these people that are real, And you find the ones that are fake, but the ones that are real, they stick out really quick. And those are the guys that are like, yeah, this is who I want to call a friend, you know. And that's, and like I said, I'm still in touch with a lot of them, and I will see them hopefully at G.O.A.L.S, if not at SHOT Show, and hopefully sometime soon here locally or something. So now you're going to get, you know, Clint Morgan unadulterated, and just you're going to get me 100%. Not that you didn't before, but I was Clint from Classic Firearms. Now I'm just Clint.
Even though it's out of respect, you know, you were working for someone. So at the end of the day, you still had orders that you had to get done. Like, I got to do it. You know, we got to get this done. It's got to also be a little bit of a relief and a little bit more exciting, like a re-energization. Maybe that's a word. I don't know.
Re-energization.
Not. It's mine. It's got to energize you though, just to say, man, I can do this my way, how I want to do it, and put out there what I think people will like. And you kind of get to, you're a leg up because you know, you're a name already in the industry, but you get to do it your way. That's got to be exciting. And
it is, man. It really is. And, you know, like I said, at Magdump Firearms, local gun shop there, I walk in and, you know, the recognition takes place, and that's always cool. And you know, sometimes, you know, I was actually up there today, you know, just kind of goofing around, and I like supporting local business as well, right? Small business and everything. And this dude Rob over there, I mean, he's got a full auto BM59 that I'm like, bro, this is cool. He's got some other cool guns too. And I'm like just taking some quick videos with him and stuff like that, just on my phone to post up on my Instagram story. And, you know, there's always like kind of somebody in the background, like, what's that guy doing? You know, and some people might know, and some people might not. And they're really like, that's one of those damn influencers, you know, whatever. And I'm over here like, I'm helping a small business. All right. But no, it is something I've obviously got a true passion for. And I'm excited to get into this. You know, there's going to be a little bit of a lull. But after that, and after I get back from that, full speed ahead, G.O.A.L with G.O.A.L s. August, you know, mid-August, 17th through 18th, open to the public in Knoxville, Tennessee. Super excited for that because I've been one of those very loud voices telling G.O.A.L, you guys need to host your own annual meet. You need to host your own, you know, annual convention. And finally, they're doing it. And so there's some big names showing up, which are always super exciting. And yeah, and so that's where a lot of time is going right now. And there's a couple of cool things that we'll be announcing at G.O.A.L s, also some things that I've been working on personally that I'm really excited for. If I give a little bit of a teaser, it's all about the younger generations. And and so that's super exciting. I've actually taken over for G.O.A.L a lot of their college outreach. And so, you know, there's a lot of misinformation, lies, a lot of, I guess you could just say a lot of susceptible minds, right? In that world. And it's cool now because I'm getting emails from college students that are like, hi, G.O.A.L, you know, I'm surrounded by a bunch of anti-gunners. What's a way I can combat this argument? You know, how can I get more involved in my community to show that firearms aren't the issue? And, you know, I give my opinion, and then I give articles and also crime stats that ultimately back up my opinion, which therefore makes it fact. And that's a lot of fun to me because now I'm like, look, you know, you might be being fed all this bullshit, but let me go. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for willing to take the time and actually have this conversation, because there's a lot of people that are just going to take what they hear, regurgitate that in their echo chambers. And then when they're actually confronted with somebody that might actually know a thing or two about what they're talking about and not just repeating some shit they heard on the internet, now all of a sudden it's like, well, now drop whatever race, you're racist, you're sexist, you're this, bigot. You're that. Yeah, you're a bigot. You know, it's like, no, I'm an
American. I'm just an American. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, I'm a student that looks for information through all I guess informative bases. You know, like it's not just one place I go to get my information either. You know, I feel like too, it's something that's just talked about a lot. It's repeated a lot, but it's also, I think, needs to be, because what people don't understand is somebody will take, especially politicians, will take that but, capitalize on that and say, okay, well, now let's go ahead and say, since you don't agree with this one thing, that just means this other similar type of thing machine guns, bump stocks, right? That's what everybody wanted to assume are pretty much the same thing. Now we just need to go and ban that. Oh, by the way, that bump stock isn't a firearm, it's an accessory. Now accessories are open to being regulated, banned. They're not weapons. Why are accessories being, oh, that's because these guys that said they shouldn't have machine guns and a bump stock is pretty much a machine gun said, oh, wow, it's bullshit, right?
They're identical.
You know, and so it's like, okay, this is why you either are, you aren't. There's no gray area. It's just like the First Amendment. Are you for freedom of speech? That means you're going to hear things you don't like. That's all there is to it. And you have the right to debate this individual. The moment you assault them, you committed a crime. It doesn't matter if that was with a firearm. It doesn't matter if that was with a shovel. It doesn't matter if that was with your fists. That's a crime, right? So again, just like the definition of somebody define assault weapon for me, I could use this mouse that I have right here as a weapon if I used it like a mace, right? I mean, assault rifles exist. They started off as the STG-44, the Sturmgewehr, right? Assault weapons can be anything from your fist to nukes, if you ask. You know, like it doesn't matter. And so to regulate one thing is to open the door for regulation of many, if not all things. And people just don't understand that, you know? I mean, you look at the war on drugs. How well has that worked out? Look at the war on terror. How well did that work out, right? So it's like you're either fully in something or you're not, and people just can't get that through their heads for some reason, you know?
No, you're right.
Hey, so Clint, I love the passion, dude. I love this, but curious, well, I'm about the G.O.A.L. It's like,
I was going to ask if you guys got your media passes already. Sorry, Adam, what were you going to say?
Oh, no. So I was just curious, like with this being kind of like, yes, there's vendors like a SHOT Show. People are going to show guns off. But then we also have this form of like talks. Like that's kind of what I'm excited for because now we're having real talks. We're not just out there looking at what the newest coolest thing is, but now we're bringing in these talks. I know you're heading a couple like the military one, correct?
Yeah. So I'll be part of the veterans panel. There's a 2A Action Alliance as well, which we're still, working out who all is going to be part of what. But we did, finally announce the 2A veterans panel, and it's going to be pretty cool because you're getting these guys that have had different, experiences in the military. Me, dude, I've never, like, some people can assume whatever they want to assume, but I've been 13 years in the Marine Corps Reserves, no combat deployments. I have volunteered.
10 years, same,
Yeah, I volunteered, right? I've got, 4 dinky little medals. I'm going to have more service stripes on my sleeve than I am medals at some point, it seems like. And I get made fun of it on occasion. I kind of laugh at it because I'm like, dude, some of the shittiest leaders I've ever known have had absolute stacks. And I think the reason I probably don't have an absolute stack is because, one, never deployed, but two, I would actually rather stand up and argue for my Marines instead of kissing my leadership's ass. Thankfully, a lot of the leadership that I had throughout the Marines have been very positive, but the ones that actually have a little bit heavier rank, I've been a little, are you fucking kidding me, sir? Yeah. Like that's not a good fucking idea. Like, do you want to go and fatigue them in and piss them off for the rest of the 3 weeks that we're out here? Because that's a good way to do that. Corporal, you need to learn your place. I'm like, sir, you need to learn how to lead Marines. So, it is.
You advanced quickly. You advanced quickly.
So, it's like, okay, so like, whatever, make fun of me for having a stack. At least I commanded the respect of my Marines. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that. So
I can respect that because like I'm finally to the point now with rank I'm 87 where I can kind of speak my mind a little bit more. No one really cares still, and they just tell me to shut up. But I don't really get like shit on too much. But even the higher you go, I just noticed it's so political, and like I don't want to go past E8. I have no ambition to be a sergeant major just because of the political aspect of it. And I feel that I'd rather be with their leading soldiers than just trying to promote and get advanced. So I definitely feel that on that aspect. So with G.O.A. as well, so you're going to be in those forums. What else can we expect from the goals that we haven't heard about yet? So we know, is there anything else that we don't know that's going to be going on there?
Well, there's going to be plenty of like new product launches and something that we're doing a little bit differently. So, all right, first of all, let me back up really quick and something that G.O.A. is doing right. So a lot of these events, you can look at SHOT Show, you can look at the NRA annual meet, you can look at so many, they don't have a media only day.
Nope.
And coming from a guy that was trying to get as much content as possible to actually help promote these vendors that are there, to actually help promote the show, I'm having to deal with people walking in front of the camera. I'm having to deal waiting on an associate or a rep to be able to actually speak with me. And granted, I know these all seem kind of like, oh, boo-hoo, you got paid
It's
to go out
important though, man. If it's your job, it's important.
Yeah, it's still my job with G.O.A., so I as of right now, I think we're still laying out like what everybody's job is going to be, but I think I'm going to be kind of like covering the show for them, which I'm really excited to do. If not, no, obviously, like whatever, I'm there to support G.O.A., whatever they need me to do. I'll fold t-shirts for all I care. So it's like, I'm excited that there's a dedicated range day, obviously, but the very next day, that Friday, is a media only day. So that gives the opportunity for all these manufacturers and different vendors and all the little guys too, which might be startups, which might actually have really cool product that they're launching for the firearms industry, that might get kind of like blown out at SHOT Show because there's just so much going on and there's people just walking by like, oh, what's that next, right? Now all of a sudden they're going to have the opportunity to talk about their product. If they want to go up on the main stage, launch something for a couple of minutes, they can do that, and all that's going to be pretty much televised, right? And so we're giving pretty much a lot of exposure to a lot of these different companies, and some of them don't need it, like Smith & Wesson, like Henry, one of my favorite manufacturers, by the way, shout out Henry for, sending me this cool little bin shot glass. That's awesome. And I noticed you're got the 2A bourbon back there.
Oh yeah. They were kind enough to send us all a little bit. Yeah.
I think they were kind enough that they're doing it smart, right?
Hey, yeah, dude, they have found their niche and they are following it, and they are very smart for it.
Super smart for it. And just a side tangent, and I said this on my live stream, I'm more of a Scotch guy. And
Scotch. I love Scotch.
I love Scotch.
But when I tried it, I was like, dude, this is actually really good. And my buddy Rob was with me, and we both cracked it open, and we're like, yeah, this is really good. This is I need another bottle.
I am a bourbon snob, and it's like everything in Kentucky. It's like the hard to finds. That's what I own. And they sent this, and I was like, I have zero expectations. It's a 2A bourbon. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm like, man, I actually like it. So there's no hard feelings. I mean, full disclosure, I thought it was going to be just terrible, and I thought I was going to have to say, it's good. Like it's really good. So like that was a pleasant thing for me. That's a terrible shout out to a bourbon, but I'm being honest.
Well, actually, no, I should talk to them because there's going to be like there's going to be an auction as well at G.O.A.L.S, and we're inviting everybody and everything that's supportive of the Second Amendment, and that includes, distilleries and things like that. So I'll probably hit them up and be like, you guys should come out, but no. So I think G.O.A. is doing it right with the media only day, allowing maximum exposure, allowing all these content creators and anybody and everybody that wants to be there, because I'm part of all the, inner chats and everything now. And they've got an entire team dedicated to making sure that we're vetting media. So it's not just somebody who just wants to get in one day for free or not, or whatever it is, So we're vetting everybody to make sure that they have legitimate, avenues.
Yeah.
Even blog writers, things like that.
It's not like SHOT Show.
Yeah. And so, it's like, okay, so there is vetting that's taken place to make sure that media passes are going to people that are actually media. And then, like I said, an entire day dedicated is going to make the lives a lot easier for a lot of people. That's not to say you're going to be able to hit every single vendor that one day, right? But that allows you the opportunity to at least it's not going to be like asshole to elbow and cameras getting knocked around and audio sounding like crap and this, that, and the other, because it's actually going to be like a little bit of breathing room and people actually being able to talk about their product and promote it in all these different content creator sites and everything, which I think is an excellent thing for them to do.
It's great marketing. It's free marketing for them. It's free marketing and it's genius.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised no one else did that.
Yeah, and so I'm really glad that they did that. G.O.A. is smart, I mean, they know what they're doing at the end of the day, especially when it comes to defending the Second Amendment. With that, additionally, 2 days open to the public. If you're a G.O.A. member, you get in at no cost, which is super cool. But on top of that, it's super family friendly. I'm super stoked for it because, one, I get to see a lot of my friends again. Some people only get to see a few times a year, and it's at industry meets type of stuff. So excited for that. Excited to obviously be helping support G.O.A. in any way that I possibly can. And on top of that, I mean, it's like I said, it's G.O.A.'s first show. It's going to be an annual event as long as this one goes well. And so, you know, as far as anything different, new and exciting, these panels, I'm going to be pretty stoked for, because these panels and things like that have happened at previous shows, but they weren't really all that exciting, I don't think. But you're seeing some of, you know, the internet's, this community's favorite content creators, some big names even, that are going to be part of these panels, are going to be offering their different opinions, their different thoughts on all sorts of different matters. Like I said, the one that's been confirmed that I'm emceeing is the veterans panel, which is going to have a diverse crew on it, including like Crispy and a few others, and which is super cool, because it's like, okay, we've seen some pretty hot takes. I remember walking out of like the NRA annual meet a couple of years ago, and I was getting screamed at, yelled at, you know, it was kind of fun. And there's one guy that was holding up the sign that said "Veterans for Gun Control." I kind of laughed, and I'm like, I'm a veteran for no gun control. And he was like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Don't get in my fucking face, like, dude." I'm like telling you, like, why are you using your veteran status to try to force your opinion on somebody? Like you can say pro gun control, that's one thing, but the moment you start using your veteran status, now all of a sudden you're saying what exactly about somebody's First Amendment speech or about their beliefs in the Constitution? Because to me, it sounds like you're kind of, I was gonna say a couple of other things, but to me, it just sounds kind of like, okay, you're that person that would ultimately enforce tyrannical rule, right? Especially if you're one like, well, I'm a vet, and all of a sudden you're putting out there. Yeah, you know, and you're that guy that goes to Applebee's asking for your 10% off on Veterans Day, right? You know, like,
hell yeah,
I can't do it.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Dude,
and that's not to shame anybody that does, but it's kind of like, I have a hard time even parking in like a veterans only parking spot. You know what I mean? Granted, I've done it. Absolutely. Especially at the local Tractor Supply when there's nobody else in the parking lot. I'm like, I'll pull into it. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
But again, I'm not here to hate either. I also really respect the companies that are doing that. It's just sometimes like I see a lot of people that this is like everything to them.
It's a persona. It's everything to them. You're exactly right. And it's like, it's part of you, but it's not, you know, it doesn't have to be everything you're about.
Yeah, you know, but again, like, you know, that part, I guess, kind of triggers me when I see people using their veteran status to force their opinion. Because, dude, the only time you'll see me like really talk about being a Marine is if I'm relating it to an experience or to something that I've learned. It's no secret, obviously. I'm very proud of my service. You'll see a couple of posts on Instagram maybe once or twice a year, especially if it's in commemoration of somebody that I served with, you know. And so it's like, or if like I'm re-enlisting and I'm doing it kind of funny or something like that, yeah, I might post that up there, right? I'm not, you know, Tim Kennedy on Normandy, which was actually pretty badass, right? If I'm being honest. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, dude, I like proud of everybody's service out there. If you did serve, as long as you served, you know, I know a couple of people that got out other than honorably, but we're also dudes that I would be like, I want you in the trenches with me if it ever came down to that. Yeah. You know, like I said, politics, like you guys said, politics are everywhere in the military too, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But what we're going to see at this panel, to full circle here, is, again, diversity, which is great. Even though we all served, we're all going to have different backgrounds. So I'm really excited to see where that conversation takes us, right? Because we've got guys that actually have seen combat. We've got guys that have actually lived that. We've got guys that were there in Afghanistan that said, oh, yeah, these houses, these individuals are allowed to have AKs for defense in their homes, even though we are in enemy territory.
Right.
And it's like, but we didn't tell them they couldn't defend themselves from rival tribes or whatever else, you know, so
it's
or terrorist organizations. And so it's like, yeah, but we're back here in the States saying you, in some localities, you can't do that. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, these people that we're fighting against, I shouldn't say people, but just take it for what it's worth here, guys. All right. Don't blast me in the comment section. But ultimately, it's like we're in an enemy territory, and these guys seem like they almost had more rights than some citizens back at home.
I see so many people in social media, in general daily life, that are pro firearm, but don't know how they can help, that don't know how they can be an advocate, that don't know how they can be an advocate without causing just major confrontation. Like, man, if I say I like guns, like I'm gonna have to pull this gun out and use it now. And what I think is really interesting and what I'm excited for is that, you know, the pro-gun group, G.O.A., is actually putting a show on, and they're going to talk to normal people and talk to them about how they can be proactive in guns. And I think that's huge. And I'll call out, I won't name names, but I'll call out Instagram. I'll call out the influencers. It's real easy to be about it as far as, I'm just going to talk. Oh, yeah, pro-gun. Yeah, don't take my rights. But, you know, after your clicks, after your monetization, after all that shit's over, you know, you didn't do it for the right reason. You did it for you. And that's fine. But what are you doing outside of that? And it's really refreshing to see someone like G.O.A. and you partnering with them is a testament to your character. It's just really cool to see. And I mean, I want your thoughts on how G.O.A. is actually helping. And I mean, you're not going to know the minutia, but how they are actually going to help during this summit as far as teaching the general public and Joe Schmo how to be an advocate.
So as you can imagine, like pretty much all of G.O.A.'s leadership, all their staff were pretty much going to be here, right? Which, knowing who we argue against, they'll find pretty much any reason for justification to assault or hurt somebody, right? So just going to go and announce that here too, that we are actually encouraging lawful concealed carry, right?
Let's go, dude.
So that's the other thing is like, look, dude, if you've got a valid concealed carry or you've got a, you know, a reciprocity from whatever state you're coming from or something like that, carry your gun. You're not going to be stopped at the door. You're not going to be asked to go leave it in the car. Something that happened at another convention, and a lot of cars got broken into, and their personal gun stolen. Like, don't leave your gun locked in a car, first of all. And if you're going into a place that says no firearms allowed, I'll leave that up to you about whether or not you're going to use that little sign on the window to justify or to determine whether or not you're going to have the tool at your disposal to be able to defend you and your loved ones. Because if concealed carry was not going to be allowed at the Knoxville Convention Center, then we weren't going to have it there. Yeah. And so this was actually an ongoing thing that took a while to kind of get figured out. And finally they were like, okay, it's done. So anybody that's like, hey, how are you doing this? Like, how are you fighting? What are you doing exactly? You know, and a lot of these people you can find on Twitter also, like Aiden Johnston. I mean, this dude's always out there. He's, you know, John Vallejo, Eric Pratt. These guys are out there. You can find them on Fox News. You can find them you can find them in, like I said, in the swamp. You can find staffers as well. So G.O.A. members can come up and be like, hey, you know, I see the newsletters. I see the Instagram posts, I see the memes, I see this, that, and the other, but what are you personally doing? And that's something that it would be really cool for the members to say. It's like, oh, well, I'm the guy that makes sure that everything looks good. I'm making sure the website works, right? You're going to have the IT guys available, right? Which, is that exciting? No, but hey, they are there. They're part of the reason why G.O.A. exists. And it's going to be one of those things where it's like, if you don't have somebody that knows how to develop a website, you're not going to be able to get far, right? So this is an important thing. You know, and so with that, you're also going to have the faces of the podcast, like John, like Kaylee, that are going to be there, right? And then, of course, the YouTube channel, and you'll see Ben, right? I love Ben, and he's an awesome dude.
We know what you've done for Classic. We can see where you're headed. But, like, what was your introduction to 2A? Was it the Marines? Did you grow up in a household with guns? Did you grow up hunting? Like, just a quick backstory on Clint's 2A introduction.
Yeah, so actually, and I've talked about this on the CF podcast when I hosted that for Classic, and I think I've talked about this too in some areas. You know, it started for me at a very young age. My dad, he instilled in me and my siblings gun safety really young. And that's because my oldest brother was actually killed at the age of 2 due to negligence of a firearm. So I never got to meet him. Yeah, I never got to meet him. And my dad lost his firstborn son that way, right? And not my dad's fault. It's just somebody thinking that a gun was a toy and pulling the trigger and aiming it at a child. Like that. So my dad went, and his wife at the time that he had, his name was Spike, Stephen Young Morgan Jr. At that point in time, his wife took a very anti-gun approach. Like, I never want to have another gun in my house. And I don't blame her. Like when you suffer that type of tragedy, I think about that now, and I put myself in her shoes, and I respect the way my dad went. And I'd like to think, until I'm actually in these situations, we can all think about how we respond and react to these things. And it's like, and that's like, with concealed carry, with drills, with shooting, with these, like, oh, well, if I was in that dude's shoes, I would have, stopped that from happening. It's like, well, you don't know that.
Really?
Yeah. But I really would like to think I went the direction my dad went, which was, I don't think guns need to be outlawed. It's like, but I do think that people need to be taught safety, right? And so, he didn't think that there had to be a class for everybody. He just said, every person that comes into my home who knows I have guns, I'm gonna sit down and talk gun safety with them, right? And so, he didn't get turned off from guns at all by that situation, which, again, I greatly respect. He went, like, again, me and my friends, I'm sure I have friends that I grew up with that are like, would come over to Clint's house and shoot with Dad and Morgan, and he would always say, muzzle awareness, safety, finger, trigger discipline, all that stuff, right? Treat every gun like it's loaded, and to give a little bit of a teaser as to where things are going, I grew up with the Eddie the Eagle program, right? With that, the NRA. So I grew up with that. You can imagine now I've got kids of my own. I want them to grow up with something that G.O.A.L is coming out with. All right. So, that's the direction I want to go with it. And I feel, responsible for kind of protecting our kids, especially from all of the bullshit that is out there, because, they're really quick to tell you that the number one killer of kids is guns. And that's not true, especially when they're in their statistics, they're including 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah. Up to 21 in some cases.
Up to 21 in some cases. And that's something too, that there's also been huge debates on a lot of stuff. And I don't think we need to bring that up here. I don't think this is really necessary, honestly, but it's one of those things where it's like all these lies and misinformation that's spread. And my dad wanted to kind of prevent that from happening. And he just wanted to make sure that people were just safe and educated, And so my introduction to firearms was at a very young age. And my dad's mindset was, you can field strip it, you can shoot it. Right. So the very first gun I learned how to do that on, actually, kind of, which was actually at I have it in my collection now. He left it to me when he died. 1944 Inland M1 carbine, 30 carbine. So I was 7 years old and I got introduced to that. And then I showed him that I knew how to take it apart, but I couldn't take apart his 1911. I just couldn't get the damn what's that?
The bushing out.
There we go. Yeah, so the capture there, I just couldn't get that. I didn't have the strength in my little thumbs. And he showed me a trick about, taking a cleaning rod or whatever else and just using my, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then he was very adamant about not putting an idiot scratch on his nickel-plated, government series, government model 1911, which I also have in my
rod. Use this cleaning rod and jam it, but don't scratch it.
Yes, exactly. So there's fun things like that. But anyway, but what's cool is, and then shortly after that was also his Remington 870 Wingmaster 12 gauge, right? And I'm honored to say that I have the very first 3 guns that I ever shot in my collection, wow. And my dad left them to me. And so it's like, man, I might not show them much, hardly at all on camera or anything. Maybe one day I will a little bit more because of what they mean to me. But it's like, I think about them and I'm like, man, that's something cool. And that's exactly what my kids are going to have too, and, I'm so tight with Henry. They're like, oh yeah, don't worry. your son and daughter are going to have a Henry collection before they're 12,
Dude, that is so cool. I was going to say, my dad, I've got a 1953 Browning high point or a high power that I'm just like, dude, I said high point. Yeah,
you did, but it's okay.
They make plastic guns back then. But that's so cool. But I think it's God, I'm not trying to drink the Kool-Aid. It's just noble, because we were talking last week about all sorts of different gun safety, but it was, hey, when you're bringing up your children, at what age did you learn, don't stick your finger in a light socket. Don't touch a hot stove. Look both ways, and whichever way you look, it's left, right, left before you cross the street. All of those things, but it's taboo to talk about, but at the same time, it shouldn't be. Like, at what age did you learn how to safely handle a firearm?
Yeah.
And I'm not asking you to be proficient, not asking you to go out and shoot it. I'm not asking you to do anything but safely handle it. And that's for every family to decide, but I don't think that's for any entity to decide other than the family itself.
Amen.
And which makes me like appreciate my dad's, mindset so much more, because that inspired me like, oh, okay, well, the moment I can learn to take this gun apart, then I can shoot it. And that was the exciting part. That was the reward, right? I get to shoot it. Hell yeah. But to get to that point, I have to learn. Right. And so now all of a sudden, like, that's super cool. And I encourage everybody, like, that getting into firearms, stuff like that, take a beginner's course, like save up, like make sure when people are like, well, I want a decent gun. I want good ammo. I want a quality holster. I want a cool optic. I want a cool light. All right. Did you budget in training? Because if you didn't, you might want to rethink where your mind's at.
You were preaching, Adam. You were drinking Adam's Kool-Aid on that. I love that.
Yeah, I'm big on that. That's a big part. That, and just not just like training anything, medical, firearms. Like, no, I'm a combat medic, so I'm very partial to TC3, to being able to be proficient. Yeah. I see all these guys, they buy tourniquets, but can you use one? Or I have chests, I have NCDs. Do you know how to use any of that? Like, that's just important to me. If you're going to put a hole in something, you should be able to plug the hole. I mean,
I've got about 3 or 4 tourniquets sitting on the floor over there from friends' kits that they said, oh, I got this tourniquet. I'm happy to have it. I'm like, I'm looking at it. It's fake. It's not a real tourniquet.
All the time.
It's a counterfeit tourniquet. And they're like, what are you talking about? And literally, I'll take the
windlass.
Thank you. I'm like, that's not going to work. And the who's the company that okay, obviously I need to slow down because now I'm forgetting everything. North American
Rescue. Mark.
Thank you. Yeah. There we go. Man, all right. You know what? Where's the water?
So this segment is brought to you by 2A Bourbon, whether they liked it or not.
It's brought to you by 2A Bourbon. But North American Rescue, they've got identifiers, the red tab, they got the markings on the inside and all that type of stuff. It's like, these are things to kind of keep a lookout for. And the moment that you get something off of Amazon that seems like it's too good to be true, $10 for 3, hell yeah, they're not real, dude. It's the same mentality of like, well, I can save money on this. I can get some really cheap thing and I'm going to carry it every single day. And it's like, that's the level of investment that you want on something that you might use to actually save your life or somebody else's. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. This is why I carry a 365 Legion. Is it expensive and kind of ridiculous for everyday carry? Maybe, but I know that bitch is accurate. I know it's going to go off when I pull the trigger. I know what it feels like when it recoils. I know the ammunition that I'm putting through it isn't cheap. And I know the holster I have it in is quality. In fact, since we're not live, I can show you. It's all right here. It's Alpha Mega Kydex holster. It's all this stuff.
Oh, man, the homie Eric, right, dude. Yeah. The homie Eric.
That's our guy.
That's our guy.
That's our guy.
Yeah, code Magdump. But there you go. Perfect. But here's the thing, and there's a reason why I choose to partner with individuals and companies like Trauma Pack as well. I don't have my battle belt in here with me right now, but I truly stand behind. I'm typically a customer before I align myself with any company.
Yeah.
And which I'm, and I mentioned this in my live stream too. When I build my brand, when I build my channel, there's 3 things and a hidden 4th thing that's for me personally that I'll talk about. It's not like it's a secret, but there's 3 pillars that I want to build my brand off of. And that's transparency, authenticity, and education. And that means education. That's twofold for me as well. I'm always the student, right? And but transparent about who I'm working with, who's paying me, whatever else type of stuff. And then authentic. And that's the other thing too, is like, if somebody's paying me to do a review, I'm be honest with you guys, I'm probably not going to do it. Because I don't want to say to my audience, yeah, they sent me this gun and some money. I'm cool if you send me the gun and you want feedback on it. Cool. Right. But I don't want to take money from a manufacturer or a company, like that. That just, to me, it seems like how do you not have bias,
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something in my mind, at least. And I might be off base there, but I don't think I am.
No, if you want to be an ambassador, you're an ambassador.
Yeah. You should.
But if you're just going to take a check to review the gun that I just built and sent to you, you're going to be biased because you don't want to upset me because I just gave you money.
Yeah,
like even if you're being honest, the viewers are going to think you're biased because I gave you money.
Yeah, you know, and I'm not afraid to say too that I'm working with these different companies like Alpha Omega, like, you know, Trauma Pack. I've got affiliate codes with these guys, but there's reasons behind me. Put it this way, I'm throwing my name and ultimately my morals behind products that could very well be used in a life or death situation. And if somebody winds up dead because they took my word on it and it wasn't at their fault, it was because of the product they're using, I'm going to eat that shit internally, you know? And so it's like that I'm not cool with living with. So I want to make sure that the products that I'm putting my name behind, things like that, are actually products that I use. And that's the part of authenticity that I value, because you're going to see me running my everyday carry, my kit, putting my name on it. That's stuff that I am comfortable using for me and mine. And if I'm comfortable using that to protect my own kin, my family, then you should be comfortable using it as well, because I'm using it. I'm using it. And there might be better things out there. Let me know, you know?
Yeah. So
that's how I feel about that.
Speaking of that, now you get that freedom. So I guess the first question is, and pardon me if I'm ignorant, is the next step, now that I'm not going to say any location details, but now that you've moved, is the next step FFLSOT?
Oh yeah. So I've thought about that. You know, I've thought about that, but that's a whole different ball game that I'm like, you know, like I said, I've got a local gun shop right down the street from me, and it's no secret that I've moved up to New Hampshire. You know, and live free or die state, and all I'm hoping to do is expand on that freedom part a little bit here in this state and kind of get the Pro 2A voice out there a little bit more, because I think New Hampshire is this like little island, I think, of freedom for the most part, that's surrounded by
and smart people.
Tyranny. It's surrounded by
MIT's up close, man. It's a lot of smart people too.
Yeah, right. You know, Maine's pretty good. Vermont's okay, you know, for the most part. But there's stupid things like capacity laws, stupid things like now, like this entire, like, you can't train or else you're considered like some sort of like terrorist or something in Vermont. I don't remember exactly what that law was, but it was bullshit. And or group trainings or something, like a militia uprising. I guess they're afraid that the Civil War movie might become real or something. But no, I'm up here in New Hampshire, and like I said, there's Magdump Firearms, which isn't far from me, which is like all my FFL SOT dealings with, I'll go through with him. He's been in the business for a few years already, and it's like, it's a lot of extra work, and I'm just trying to start a channel and a podcast and all that type of stuff. And my buddy Tony over at 2D Wild Guns, Tony 2 Wild, I think he has his own FFL SOT. He's like, dude, you got to do it. It's the way to go. And I'm like, yeah, that. And he said too, the ATF agent that came to visit him was actually pretty cool with it and all that type of stuff.
Dude, mine was super cool. Mine was super cool.
You didn't shoot your dog. Mike's dog's still around.
No, my dog's alive.
And
even
the one filled with tannerite, you know?
Dude, we've went this whole freaking thing. Happy ATF month. But anyway, my words, no one else's. But man, dude, it was so nice, and just having that capability, because I know that you're spoiled going from classic and now you're going to be like, oh yeah, everything's semi-auto unless I go see a friend. Boring.
Yeah, well, even on Classic, which had an SOT and everything, we never did anything full auto over there, you know, unless it was at a different show or something like that. And it's like, man, actually, since leaving and moving up here, I've actually got access to more machine guns now, which I'm kind of excited about. So it's like, all right, that should make pretty good content, not for YouTube, but for Rumble and stuff like that. You know? So
absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, and I kind of want to go back to the thing about the ATF too, because it's like, I think there are some good people in the ATF at the end of the day. I know at least one, but at the same time, and these guys are, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like you can't beat them, join them type of thing, because that's not the case. These guys are gun enthusiasts that are ultimately trying to help small businesses. And they're more, you know, Pro 2A small business advocates than trying to shut down the little guy. Now, I'm not saying that but again, granted, I worked in the industry. You know, I've known both, okay? And this one guy that I'm talking about, though, I'm not going to mention where he is or anything or his name or any of that stuff. He's super cool. He checks in on me, asks how I'm doing. I asked him about when I was moving, and I was like, dude, I'm coming through states that I've got plenty of stuff that's going to get me in prison and everything else. And he's like, dude, you're covered under the Commerce Act and all that stuff, you know.
Moving.
Yeah, and he even said, you know, like, dude, your 5320.20 looks good. Go ahead and send that in. He was just super helpful. And he even would say, you know, like, hey, is Classic need anything? You know, like, are you guys good? Like, how's everything in the bound book? Do you guys have any questions? And sometimes I'm like, are you fishing? You know, but no, he was legitimately just like wanting to help. And I'm like, dude, that's pretty cool. So I'll talk a shit about the organization as a whole. And I think that ultimately it's full of tyrants and that the organization in a whole is a tyrannical group.
It's their boss. It's their boss.
You know, but at the same time, I don't think that every single person is evil, you know, that's in the ATF. I just kind of want to make that clear as well.
I know I'll get hate mail for this, but if they were evil, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 day turnarounds that are happening right now on certain NFA items, it wouldn't be a thing. I mean, we had Dave on from Sponsor Shop the other day, and it was like, he said, man, I made a phone call, said we weren't getting the results we wanted on FFL transfers. 3s, and he was like, dude, it was corrected 22-hour transfers at that point. And it's like, man, they're not for us, but they're not against us. It's everybody has a boss, and that's how I look at it. And I know that the guy that's talking to me on the other end of the phone, he's not out to get me. Maybe the guy 4 pegs above him is, but like they're not out to get me.
Yeah, and you know, and you can leave this open to the comment section too, because I want to hear from everybody else also, because a lot of people that aren't in the industry that I've actually never even talked to an ATF agent might have their opinions, and that's cool. You're entitled to that. But people that are actually in the industry that have had dealings with the ATF, have you had similar, you know, encounters and situations? Because I've talked to other local gun shops who said, dude, our local guy is shit. Like, he terrible. He wants us all, like, I'm pretty sure if we had a dog, he'd be like, 3 years dead now. You know, like, there's all sorts of shit. And it's like, that sucks. And there's other guys that have had conversations like me, like, I actually kind of like our guy, you know, I don't know if I can trust him, but I like him, you know. And it's like, okay.
When I got mine, the agent that showed up and did the initial inspection, God, I don't want to get anybody in trouble saying this, but basically what I was told was, yeah, you renew in 4 years. Your first inspection is in 4 years. We're not going to be here anytime before that unless you give us a reason to. Yeah. But with the way things are going now, we used to give people a strike or 2, sometimes 3. We're not giving that now. So if your bound book isn't right, if you can't account for everything, that doesn't mean you're going to jail, you're getting arrested. But what it does mean is, under the current guidelines, you're going to lose your FFL.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know what? I disagree with everything you're saying, but because you've told me that on the front end, if anything happens, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm a big accountability person. Like, that's my fault then at that point. You told me the rules to play, and I could have chosen to leave. And I chose to stay. So if it's wrong, my fault.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, even though like the rules shouldn't exist. And ultimately, I think the ATF.
Agreed.
You know, and here's my thing too. When people talk about, you know, disbanding the ATF, defunding the ATF, I agree to an extent. I think the ATF should exist in some capacity. And that capacity is, it should be citizens actually keeping in check these representatives and politicians that are ultimately promoting and passing anti-2A legislation. These people should be picked up by now the new members, the new agency that is the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, by the citizens of the people to say, you're a tyrant, off to jail. So I think the ATF should actually work.
I'll give you a hot take on that. I'm agreeing with you, but I've got a caveat to it, and I think that
kind of like Mike's perspective.
The people that like the all things fun, the ATF, I think what the ATF should stand for is, I believe it should be in place strictly for the dealers. And the only reason I say that is because in society, history repeats itself, and history shows a constant battle of temptation. And I don't I'm not saying I want it. I'm just saying I don't mind it in place for the dealers because it's going to keep the dealers in check. I don't want one dealer who's going to make bad deals in a back alley ruin it for everybody else. I think that serialized numbers, serialized items, once they leave my possession into the civilians' hands, it doesn't matter to me. But I think that, I don't know, historically you give an inch, we're just going to take a foot. So watching the gun guys, I think there should be a little leeway and a little more help. But I think that, I don't know, you can disagree with me. I just think that I don't mind that.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I also
think keeping people from doing backdoor deals with the cartels.
Yeah, well, I think too that there's also trade regulation that kind of is already kind of like could do that. I don't think a gun dealer, quite frankly, should be treated any different than anybody else. In fact, I think they actually should be treated a little bit better because they're dealing in a protected right, So it's kind of like, trade is already kind of regulated to the point where it's suffering. And my mind, I take a really I don't like any type of government involvement, right? Like regulation and government involvement has always led to more regulation, more involvement, higher taxes without any type of return on the investment, right? And we can see that even when it just comes down to roads and roadways, right? I mean, people say all the time, like, well, if, there was no income tax, there's no federal tax, no state tax, well, who would build the roads? I'm like, you mean the roads that are already damaging our cars with full of potholes? Like, what are you talking about? When it was all privatized, it was fine. And you can see that in plenty of localities. Actually, there's plenty of roads up here in New Hampshire that aren't paved at all, and citizens are actually going out with rocks and filling holes, and they're a lot smoother than some of the roads I drive in Massachusetts, which is some of the heheaviest taxes ever. So fuck you and your taxation arguments.
I love that. I love it.
Well, my man's spitting.
I mean, think about it though. Like any type of government involvement and regulation winds up costing taxpayers more money, and it's for bullshit. Like I said, a bag of gravel doesn't cost nowhere near as much as what I paid in the live free or die state. By the way, a bag of gravel doesn't cost as much as I paid to register my vehicle here. Yeah. Right. Thankfully, the roads in New Hampshire aren't bad, but the moment I cross the border down to Massachusetts to go to my unit, it's like Jesus. It's almost like North Carolina going down to South Carolina. And if you're local there, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I say that with the caveat though of the laws we live in now, because I don't want to get into it. It's no point, but releasing felons out of prison but not giving them all their rights. If somebody is deemed able to go back into society, shouldn't all their rights be
if somebody's paid their debt to society, they should be granted. And now they're back in society. They're acting as they are citizens. They're citizens of the United States. That means they should be granted all the rights that an American citizen has. And what people might not understand, our take on that is, so you think rapists and murderers and all this
shouldn't be out.
They shouldn't be out. If you can't trust them in society,
they shouldn't be in jail. There's another alternative.
Yeah, there definitely is. But people don't understand is this is an actual societal issue. It's not. It's obviously a legal issue too, because here in the United States we don't have a justice system. People might say that we have a legal system, right? And that is so far off base of what actually justice really is. Look at Hunter Biden's 3 convicted gun charges. That's great. I don't think he should have been convicted because I think all gun laws are infringements. Like how pro-gun are you? Hunter Biden shouldn't have been convicted.
I don't know how to say this nice, but they're releasing convicted felons back out into society, some of which are reformed and deserve every single right given
100%.
Because I am adamant that if you release someone back into society to be a contributing member, they are deserving of everything that I am deserving of.
Or they shouldn't be on the street.
They're not, then they shouldn't be released. Sorry to say that, but that's just the truth. Yeah. But in the society we live in, since we release people out and they have to knock on your door and say, hey, just letting you know I moved down the street and I'm supposed to tell you that, I've got this thing. And that's why I think that the ATF has to be around for the dealers now. They fix that, I could change my tune.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And that's the other thing too, is, this entire like the pedophile or the what is it, the map where you can find the sexual criminals or whatever, predator, all that stuff, you know, convicted, you know, rapists and everything else. It's like, dude, you see that and I'm like, first of all, I don't like that there's some near me. Secondly, why are there so many? Thirdly, why does this map exist and why aren't they all in one location called prison? I should be able to go to that map and they should all just be in jail. You know what I mean? Like,
I could argue that they haven't published the one. I could argue that they haven't published the one that shows gun ownership.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and so that's the other thing too. But I'm sure yeah. So I mean, the ATF, I mean, the G.O.A. even, you know, proved that there was an ATF, you know, dossier on gun owners and everything else, you know, so it's like,
well, I truly believe there is a registry, because they'd be done if there wasn't, just because it's sheer fact. If I shut down, I have to give them my bound book. You know that. Yeah. I have to give them my bound book. And if they're going to put my bound book next to CF's bound book, next to all these other guys' bound books, when we shut down in a cardboard box somewhere in the basement, they're idiots. Yeah. Put everything on a spreadsheet, because if you told me that was my task, I would do that. Now, they're not going to advertise they did that, but I mean, that's common sense.
Yeah, right. But the thing is, there's definitely a registry, no doubt. And the ATF can say there isn't one, but you're absolutely right. Like, dude, like the 4473s are technically, I think, are actually like not legal. Because that is, again, it's a protected right of ours. You know, the Constitution protects this natural right given to us by our Creator. Why do I have to tell you anytime I want to exercise it? You know, again, that would be like, they already regulate everything else too. The First Amendment. I mean, hell, just to be up here on this platform, we already hear about some of these tech giants and everybody else regulating. Again, there's that favorite word, you know, about what we can talk about. And all we're doing is just giving opinions, and then all of a sudden, what that's so big, bad, and scary, they have to censor us. That doesn't sound like anything we've heard of in the past, you know, like, come on, man. No. You know, so
I mean, and in the grand scheme,
it's going to happen. Watch.
Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, all of us, and you being the biggest, so no disrespect, in the grand scheme of things, none of us are anything in reality. When you look at, you know, that pecking order of what they're looking for, like, we're little fish, like, what's the deal? But you know, they're going to use us as the whipping boy, and it's like, really, you're going to pick on us? Like, have fun picking on our 7 subscribers. Woohoo!
Yeah, well, look what they did to Matt Hoover, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and the little auto key card damn thing, you know? I mean, look what they did, like I said, with braces, and tried to do that. Again, they're turning how many hundreds of thousands of people overnight into freaking felons for owning, again, a piece of plastic. Are you kidding me?
Crazy. I want to, before we close out, I actually want to talk about this, because you're doing a lot of big things, but let's fast forward a year from now. Like, what do you want to accomplish in this next year? Because you obviously, 2023, you were, you know, Gundy's winner, most influencer male. So you obviously have that influence now. We know people know who you are. You are well educated on all this stuff, but what are you going to do, and where do you want to be in the next year?
So I kind of like what I did with Classic is I took a lot of the things that I learned there, and I'm able to incorporate that now in ways to preserve and fight for the Second Amendment. I'm going to learn within this next year a lot from G.O.A. as well. And I want to do that on a grander scale, right? And so, you know, I was on a podcast, the Battle Line podcast with Tonto, and he said, you know, would you consider yourself an influencer? You know, like, what do you think about that term? And it's like, everybody has a negative connotation when it comes to influencer, but it depends on what way are you influencing people. And I am proud to wear the title influencer if I'm influencing individuals to exercise and fight for their Second Amendment right. Like, that's, call me an influencer, okay? And if I can influence people in that regard to actually get out there and not even just exercise their Second Amendment right, exercise your First Amendment right when it comes down to fighting for the Second Amendment right. Find out what all these other rights that you have that are granted to you, again, by your Creator, right? Like the government doesn't grant you anything other than, well, jail time if you don't pay your taxes, you know? So, like, get out there and actually exercise these rights. Don't let them just fade away. Don't let them just go away. Don't let them waste away. And if I can influence people to actually go and take a class, learn a thing or two, learn, you know, build their first AR. You know, that's actually what moved me the most, reading those farewell video comments. Clint, you inspired me for my first build. You know, that stuff, I'm like, because what that means now is somebody now is developing this fire, this passion in them. Because when you build something from the ground up, you take pride in it, especially when you take it to the range for the first time. You pull the trigger, it doesn't blow up in your face. You make contact with the target downrange. You hear that steel ring, or you get a nice tight group on that cardboard or paper. And now all of a sudden you got like, oh, dude, what's next? What am I going to build next? You know what? And then all of a sudden you start getting more involved into, holy shit, people are actually trying to come and take this thing. I'm never going to use this for evil. I'm going to use this to protect me and mine, right? And now all of a sudden these people are like, I built this. I want to keep this. I'm seeing that this is the best tool to protect what I love and what I care for and what I cherish. And now all of a sudden you're getting more involved. And that is ultimately what I want to do on a grander scale come in the next year. And if I can do that through a YouTube channel or a podcast channel, or with G.O.A. and helping them grow and expand their mission and their message, then, well, damn it, that's what I want to do, you know? And that's really what my goal is. And that's second. That's second to just being a father that my kids can be proud of. That, you know,
husband and father, and then that.
Yeah, you know, and I want my kids, I don't want my kids growing up and saying, oh yeah, my dad's a YouTuber, right? I want them saying, my dad's a fighter. He fights for me and my family. He fights to preserve our rights, and he's a fighter for this country. You know, not necessarily a war fighter, where granted, if I was called up for a justified war, then sure. And that's, you know, if we want to go a different route really quick, that's something else people got to understand too, is I'm in a non-obligated status. I can get out at any point in time that I want at this point, which is, you know, cool for me, because all of a sudden, if they're telling me I got to go fight for Ukraine, I'm going to say no. Not that I'm afraid to. It's just that I don't believe American men and women should die for this cause. And quite frankly, I think the same with Israel. But granted, and that's a whole different conversation to have. But quite frankly, we got enough of our own shit to handle here in the United States. And I'd much rather send our resources here home site when we've got suicide rates and everything else. We've lost more men and women to suicide than we have combat for the last 30 years, right? Like,
not even close. It's not even close. The numbers aren't even close.
You know, and so before we send any resources anywhere else, so I also want to inspire men, you know, specifically, but men and women, of course, to actually get out there and get into better mental health as well. You know, and so if I can do that, you know, like I said, I've lost more friends to suicide than combat, and I've been in the Marines for 13 years. You know, and it's like, let's think about that. And so yeah, I want to influence people to get in a better mental health standing. I want to influence people to exercise and defend their rights. And I just want to be a good dad and be a good man to my fiance. And that's really what my goals are for 2025 and beyond.
Hell yeah. Clint, we got one more.
Yeah, man.
So you're pretty famous for your top 5 picks. You've broken some hearts. You've polarized some people one way or the other. People love them. People hate them. You get people mad. You get people happy.
Man, when Alec was on the channel, I've said this before too. He and I had such chemistry. Our top 5 fights, I think I go back and watch them now, and I'm pretty much
They're like a lot of fun.
Reminiscing, and I'm like, dude, there were times where we couldn't get through a video because we're laughing so hard, and then there are times where like, are you fucking serious? You think that way? You're an idiot. And you know, and so that stuff was so fun to me. But yeah, anyway, continue. Yeah,
right now. Quick pick. Top 5 guns you couldn't live without. You got 5 for the rest of your life. They don't have to fit any category. 5 guns for the rest of your life.
It doesn't have to be sentimental either. We don't have to talk about the guns that are willed to you.
It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, all right. The guns that I couldn't live without, like, let's be honest. The ones that, you know, mean the most to me are those sentimental guns. But let's be real. If I have only 5 guns, it's not going to be the M1 carbine. It's not going to be the Remington 870. And sorry, everybody, it's not going to be the 1911. All right, but as much as actually the 1911 is the one gun that I own multiples of. Well, and the AR, obviously. Sure. But yeah, I don't have multiple Glocks. That's not true. I have a 19 and a 17 Gen 3.
This is okay.
But yeah, so actually it's funny. I got multiple Glocks and multiple 1911s. And if it's the 5 that I couldn't live without, like All right, my everyday carry, my 365. You guys already saw that. That one's that I feel like you have to have that. That's my
That's Bros.
that's the pistol that I'm going to have with me at all times. Right. If you see me out in public and you give me a hug, you'll probably think that I'm really happy to see you or I'm carrying a gun, and it's the latter.
I mean, if you're hugging me, you might be, but
what else?
JT likes it.
Okay. My Dandy Defense Mark 12. That is such a great do-all rifle. I feel like my Mark 12 with how I got it set up now too, with that Allen Engineering AEM5 suppressor and the collar system. I've shot that and I love how that gun shoots. So my Mark 12.
I need your help. I need your help getting me on board with DD.
Oh, I might know them pretty well, you know.
Yeah, well, we can talk offline. You know, I'll give you the business offline about that.
Yeah. All right. My Henry 4570, because I feel like everybody needs to have.
That's the lever gun.
And I live in New Hampshire now, dude. You know, like, if it's not a moose or a bear, it could be something else, you know. And so 4570 is also one of those rounds I just love to shoot, you know. So there you go. My 4570 all-weather by Henry is one of my absolute favorite guns to shoot. And again, big shout out to Henry. We should be making a pretty cool announcement there soon also. What
My
else?
man's getting
Number
lost
4.
in the sauce. He's spilling the secrets.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's like if you follow me on social and
It is what it is.
you know, it's like, dude, and like I said, Henry's had a special place in my heart because even though it wasn't the first rifle I shot, it's the rifle all throughout my childhood.
They're so fun. They're so fun.
You know, I still have the pump action that I had as a child. You know, the pump action 22. I actually traded my lever action 22 because I got a new lever action 22. So it's like I traded the original one. Now I kind of wish I had the original one back and the new one. Not like it's a 22 lever gun. It's fun. It's going to do what it's going to do.
You need to talk to them about. You need to talk to them about turning in their big boys and all the shorties with the threaded barrels. You need to get them to make a 22. Then,
Yeah.
you can't do it with the rod. It's just too hard to remove the silencer. But if they can figure out something else, man,
They could do it.
I'd buy 10 of them for myself.
They got the 22 Frontier. That's Winchester Magnum. I mean, it's WMR. I've got that one, and that one's cool as shit. Yeah. That one's really cool because you can suppress that one too. It's got the threaded barrel and all that stuff. Okay. All right. So far I talked about my 365, my Mark 12, my 4570. I actually have it right here. Actually, I forgot I even had these guns behind me. I've got some of my favorites that I've been playing with. My Beretta 1301. I gotta have a my 1301 Mod 2 with everything Aerodis.
Gun in there.
Benelli, what? Benelli, what?
Dude, don't get me wrong. I love the Benelli M4.
1301 is fire though.
I love
that 1301.
When I was with Classic, we did the entire comparison, and by the end of it, I was like, all right, look, dude, if I'm going to buy a semi-auto shotgun, and that's what I did. I bought this one. You know, Beretta didn't send me that one. I bought that bitch. That is a Mod 2, and like I said, Aerodis Industries, everything on that. Okay, so 365, Mark 12, 4570. Damn, I'm down to one more now.
Yeah, one more.
I got to have a shorty on there, and look, I know everybody's going to be really shocked here. It's not going to be the Mark 18. It's not like I love my Mark 18, but if I'm going to go,
man, you remember you left something off of your top 5 last time from New Hampshire. Is that in there?
So that's just it. I'm at a really hard impasse right now because it is between either my Honey Badger SD.
Okay.
Or which actually I should be on this side. Oh shit! I just hit my stit again. My Honey Badger SD, which is sitting right there, or what's literally right beside my bed right now as we speak is my. I want to cut that. Right as we speak is my Sig Rattler LT 3 in a blackout.
Okay.
Man, same.
Yeah.
That's the same team, man. That's a tough call.
But at the same time, it's like if I'm really working close quarters and everything, how light and maneuverable and awesome that HBOT is.
Dude, the Badgers, dude, they're nuts.
Yeah. You know, it's lighter like God, dude.
It's lighter than an MP5.
Oh yeah, but hands down. Don't go. And I have an AP5 that I've got decked out, but at the end of the day, 300 blackout superior to 9mm in every way.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
like let's just be real. Other than, you know, obviously I'm not going to carry 300 blackout in a handgun, right?
Yeah. Other than ammo cost, I mean, 300 blackout is superior.
Right. But when it comes to ending a threat, 300 blackout
superiority in the same size.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's really close between the SIG and dude, I forgot too, the other pistol that I'd have to be on there is like my 226 Legion, but you know, that's obviously I'm at my limit.
I'm
so
a 226
there it is.
myself.
Yeah.
Tough choices.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, man, we got your choices. We've heard your story. We've heard about all of the new things that you're going to try to do and you are doing right now. And, you know, I'm pretty excited and pretty pumped to just go ahead and let you close out and go ahead and tell all of the people that aren't already following you. And
who isn't?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. We got like 7 followers. I'm sure one of them isn't. But dude, like, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone where they can find the new channel?
Yeah.
And how they can get at you.
Yeah. You know, I don't know what the algorithm's doing right now. Because it's like if I go incognito and I go to YouTube or something, I don't even know what it would look like if I typed in my name. You know, if I type in Clint Magdump Morgan on YouTube right now, I hope I come up. That's what it is, though. It's Clint Magdump Morgan. If you search just Clint Morgan, you'll probably see all the things that I've been in, and I think there's like a musician that's also by the name of Clint Morgan or something, a Bible study guy or something. So that might come up too. But
there you go, brother. You're in.
There's my live stream there.
Yes.
So yeah, you can follow that.
And then
but
Clint's last video.
Yeah, and then there it is. Yeah, so that's funny. But before that though, I want to go back to that top 5 because just like in the comment section, like he always has a
honorable mention.
And I don't want to do that. I want to give you guys a solid top 5 because everybody's like, gee, it hasn't changed. And I'm like, you're right, I haven't because I can't narrow it down. But if I had to choose it, it'd probably be the Honey Badger SD for my number 5.
There you go, Kevin. Sleep easy tonight, brother.
So
I just love the way this gun shoots and everything. The SIG Rattler LT, don't get me wrong, love its reliability, love everything about it. But a little bit heavier boy, and don't get me wrong, I think honestly it's probably, and Kevin, don't hate me, I think the SIG Rattler LT is probably a more reliable gun at the end of the day. But there's something about this close quarters mindset, with this Honey Badger SD, where it's like I said, lighter weight, everything about it I just think is good.
I'm a guy that loves lightweight, but at the same time, if you give me heavy with a harder recoil, but a controllable, manageable recoil, I'm not mad. I still feel in my civilian LARPer world, I can still do work. You know what I mean? Like something about just that extra weight and that extra recoil. I don't know. It makes me feel more into it.
If rifle is too heavy, pick it up more often.
Spoken like an AK guy.
Yeah, but my thought process is, each gun has a role, right? Shotgun is obviously superior for close quarters if you're operating in a team. If you're by yourself, good luck with that capacity and reloads. Yeah. So in a team environment, I think a shotgun's absolutely necessary and awesome. If you're by yourself, something 300 blackout's great. But like I said, the piston-driven operation of the SIG Rattler, I think, ultimately inherently is going to make it a little bit more reliable with a lot more reliable than DI in that case, especially when shooting subs, 300 blackout, and a lot of them all day. Okay, and I'll actually say this: I've done it. I've seen it. Right, I've been there. I've done that. So with that, in my mind, though, in a close quarters setting, hopefully it's not more than And I'm not saying that the gun can't do this. I'm just saying, hopefully, I'm not expending more than one mag.
You have problems. If we're that point, there's probably a whole other issue that you have to worry about.
Right. And so at the end of the day, that's why I'm like, okay, there you go. But just so people know this too, I swap out guns for home defense pretty regularly. Like it just happens to be my Rattler LTs up there right now. my Honey Badger SD has been up there a lot recently. My SIG 226 Legion is always up there. My FNX 45 is always up there. There's been times where I've had my Mark 12 and I was just fiddling with it, and I'm like, yeah, that's going to go in the closet right next to my bed. Like, is that the ideal home defense gun? Absolutely not. It's not going to be the first thing I pick in that scenario whatsoever. But it's been up there.
It'll do work.
Well, now that I've got a chicken coop and everything else, and I've got that thing dialed in for what I will be using it for, and I've 50 yards on 77 grain open tip match, I know I can make a very accurate and solid shot if anything tries to get into my chicken coop. We got foxes. I actually ran into a bobcat the other night and everything, and it's like a Mark 12 might be a little bit overkill, but you know what I consider overkill? A confirmed kill. All right. So
yes, man, this guy has brought the South Carolina. This guy has brought the redneck to New Hampshire with the chicken coop.
Dude, all I found out is New Hampshire has rednecks. I just got more money up here.
Yeah. That's very true. Right. That's very true.
We got snowmobiles and ice fishing huts up here. All right. That shit's cool.
Yeah. So we're coming up. We're actually going to do what you guys just did with CF. Before you left, we're going to go up and do a whole build with the guys at Q, and we're going to do a whole plant tour just like you guys did. But once we're up there, dude, we want to look you up, try to grab some dinner, do something.
Well, I was going to say, let me know, because me and the boys at Q are pretty cool and everything, and I wouldn't say they're like my best friends, but that's just because they keep kicking me out of the shop. But no.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not far from them whatsoever. And, if Kevin really wants to get spicy, maybe I can invite my friends from SIG for dinner too, and there you go.
Ooh, getting Kevin drunk with him would be great. I would love that.
Dude, I just recommend everybody charge their camera batteries, because it's going to be gold for whoever's channel gets it.
Yeah. Well, actually, what would be really gold is if I invited my friends from Daniel Defense to have dinner with him.
Oh yeah,
Lord.
So
let's
I've
go,
tried
dude.
that. We've reached
as
out.
Long as
we're
Marty's
not getting
not there.
anybody.
As long as
we're not
Marty's
getting
not there.
anything. Yeah, we have no traction with Marty ever since Kevin came on, but we're trying.
It is what it is, though. And like I said, everybody's going to have their, their experiences and their opinions and their situations that they've gone through with other people. And it just is what it is. And let me say this too about Kevin, because I read a lot about him on the internet, but people have never met the guy and talked with him. This dude is so passionate about his company, his product, but also his employees. That man, he was on the floor. He knows everybody's names. He's asking them what they need. He's asking them, like, how can he make their job easier, right? I mean, his team of engineers, these guys are proud of the work they do, and they're proud to work for him. And I'm like, bro, if I were to ever, like, have a boss again, I'd want it to be him.
I'd want him.
And so I got nothing but love for Kevin. And I'll tell you right now, I'm being completely honest with you guys here, and that's why I'm being as transparent as I am. Like, again, one of my pillars here is, on my top 5 there, the reason I chose the Honey Badger SD isn't because I'm tight with the guys at Q. I'm actually, to be quite frank, I'm tighter with the guys at SIG. But at the end of the day, it's because in this aspect, in this regard, this is the gun that I would want in this situation. And, but that's the scenario I'm making up in my head. And so it's like, and there's also this super, again, top 5 guns I'm ever going to, there's a really big cool factor with the Honey Badger SD. Okay.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Let's go ahead and be real. So there's another reason why it's number 5 on me.
Well, we're working an angle with KB, and we're just going to go ahead and throw you in. And I know you've already talked to him about it, but we need a Whiskey and Windage, Clint Morgan, KB, Africa Expedition, and let's just do it.
Yeah, dude. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm going to be back up there because I'm going to get a boom box. Like, there's no, after shooting that 8.6 for the first time,
dude,
that thing is fire.
And,
I think I own more ammunition than anybody in the country other than KB with 8.6. And we're going up there in September, and we're going to build, and I think I'm building a boom box. Hands down. And that's what I got to get next. Okay, well, great. September, my schedule's actually pretty cool in September, so I'll be happy to either meet up with the guys or even join you guys and do another range day with Jay and everybody too. Like I said, love everybody over there. They're just such passionate people about what they do, and it's so cool. And then, man, I mean, hell, we could probably even do, by that time, hopefully I have my podcast going, and we can actually do one, in person, all right here. Awesome. That's going to be pretty fun. Let's do it, man. It's boring as hell, but we'll talk about something, or at least we'll get drunk and make good content.
I mean, that's there it is. You know, I
There
mean,
we go.
that was pretty much me and Brandon Herrera's podcast at SHOT Show, 2 years ago, whenever that was.
Yes, it was.
Hell yeah.
And it worked out really well.
Well, hell yeah, dude. We'll tell everybody where they can find you now. And Matt, close us out, brother.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's Magdump Morgan, is where you can find pretty much all my content on Twitch, Instagram. I think it's like Magdump_Morgan. And I legitimately think that's it. Magdump_Morgan. And then, like I said, for YouTube, just started the channel. Clint Magdump Morgan is where you guys can find me there. If you're interested, if not, then hopefully I make some content that you are actually interested in. And, but yeah, with that, thank you guys for having me on, and thanks everybody for tuning in and listening to this, freaking guy talk about guns and shit. So,
man, once again, we want to thank Clint Magdump Morgan for coming on the show. I think that, I don't know about you guys, but I think that Clint and myself became best friends. Matt, I think you became best friends. Adam, he doesn't like you because you put his balls on your drum set. It's cool. I understand that. But, man, I do want to thank him for coming on. Matt, what are your thoughts, brother?
Dude, honestly, it was great to get to sit down and talk with somebody who's been a fixture in pew tubing for a really long time now. And, behind all these stars and these influencers are people. And it's really cool to also see Clint take the following that he has and go, like you said, he's going to work for G.O.A.L.S. So, like, not just taking the followers to sell t-shirts or to, just sell somebody a bunch of stuff. He's going to take that following and make sure that people are hearing the good message about 2A advocacy as well. And so that's really tight. I like that.
Man, yeah. So Adam, I know you were excited. You've made it a point to tell us that it's all about knocking names off this list for you. Not only are you in the 2A realm and a journalist, but this is also, you're a fan as well. So we're knocking names off of that list. We've had names like Brent Tucker, like Chris Blau, Dave Matheny, Kevin Brittingham, and now we can check off Clint Morgan. There's a couple more on there. Grand Thumb, you're next. And dude, once we knock all those, Adam, I guess we have no other choice but to go to your second love, which is Pornhub. Adam, what you got?
I live in Texas, and we can't get Pornhub anymore. So yeah,
only a Pornhub subscriber would know.
Guys, I feel blessed. I truly am blessed to do what we're doing. I feel like we're doing something. I don't know what it is, but it's something. People don't hate us, and I'm just thankful to be part of this. So, guys, that's all I got.
Before you close us out, Adam, because I think you deserve to do that, I hope people listen, but we all three know the truth. But I do want to say something on behalf of the brotherhood that we have developed. I'm not going to say anything online at all, but Matt and myself know that Adam, you've done a little bit of evaluating for yourself, and you're doing a couple changes in your own life. And I personally want to say cheers to what you're doing, and it's not unnoticed. And brother, keep the good fight up, and you always got us in your corner. So on behalf of Matt and myself, close us out, brother.
Guys, like I always say, stay dangerous, carry a weapon. Talk to you soon.